Welcome back. So we'll go straight into the conversation. Sorry for that break in transmission. Right, you were saying about the responses so far.
Yes. So when you look at the promises INEC had made to Nigerians about what they believe to be free, fair, and credible elections, when you look at the height of expectations they have taken Nigerians to, and what we saw on the election day, you would see that they are not really, the promises are not really proportional to what we saw as reality on February 25th. I'm being specific about February 25th because that is the bone of contention here now. Nonetheless, we cannot use some isolated cases. We cannot use some isolated cases to reach a general conclusion on what the electoral process looked like. And why I'm saying this now is that with the report coming from the European Union, the European Union, they had little over 50 observers. Now, they need to tell us how, they need to tell us the grounds their observers carried out. They need to tell us maybe they had volunteers in the 176,000 polling units across Nigeria. They need to tell us what, they need to tell us the things they were looking out for, the things they saw that made them to believe that the election was marred with a lot of irregularities. In as much as, just like I said earlier, in as much as we cannot generally say that the election in total, generally was a sham, then we cannot totally say that it was a complete success, of which there's no electoral system anywhere in the world for any country practicing democracy that is immune to having some little errors here and there. The only difference is that, moving on, these people, they always know, they find means to mitigate these mistakes. Lightning does not strike twice. Yeah, the reason why we're talking about it, the reason why I said lightning does not strike twice in those in the developed countries is because you would hardly hear a case of overvoting. You get, but since 1999 till year 2003, there's never been an election we've had that we've not had issues of overvoting, that we've not had issues of voters suppression, that we've not had issues of ballot snatching. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, a lot has not really changed. And if you look at the promises, if you look at just based on what the INEC chairman has said, that the election was at 99%.
You said the beavers.
The
beavers worked.
The beavers worked 98% well. I think we can't really dispute that because on the election day, I myself, I was on the field and I can say that I was on the field at Niger State, and I covered about 60% of the whole of my assigned jurisdiction, and there was no, we were unable to record even one singular case of the beavers malfunction. I think where Nigerians are having the grouse here now is the IREV, where they can directly monitor the arrival of results. They can, even before the INEC chairman announces the results, we already, like, Nigerians already know, okay, this is the direction. I think that is where Nigerians are having the major issue. And if you look at the Electoral Act, on the things that the things that should be considered in terms of deciding where deciding the winner, I think the IREV portal is coming like the third, or it's quite low. And the INEC people, they've described it as a glitch. Now, what kind of, Nigerians are no longer daft. Nigerians are no longer ignorant. We have a lot of young Nigerians now. Doing beautiful things in the tech space, which happens to be, which happen to constitute the highest voting strata in the previous, in the just concluded election. You and I can attest to the fact that Nigerian youths came out en masse to cast their vote. So if you are saying it was a technical glitch, tell Nigerians what the glitch was about. Tell Nigerians, okay, this was actually what happened. Why you were not able to monitor your votes. Why you were not able to monitor the results of your votes real time as we promised.
Let me just cut in here. All of this is being said, you've spoken about how no process is 100% perfect and so on. Do you think INEC did a good enough job to, indemnify themselves to show that whatever is happening here, they are just glitches? They are just, things that happen with any process. Do you think they proved well enough that they were not complicit, or that they had a hand in what was going on? Because I think that's the issue here. There's a level of trust. People are saying, this thing that happened, are you sure you didn't do it? Or are you saying that it's just, part of the process with glitches? Do you think they did a good enough job to protect themselves?
For me, I don't think the INEC, I don't think the Independent National Electoral Commission did well enough to defend themselves, to put themselves in a safe spot from accusations and wrong accusations. And the reason is that, let's take a look at what's going on at the Presidential Election Precision Tribunal right now. We've had instances where the opposition parties have requested for some, demanded access to some election materials that they have been denied. They've been denied access to the materials. Well, I think at some point when the tribunal granted, or the High Court rather, granted the request of the petitioners to inspect the materials used for the election. I think it took a whole lot of back and forth to be able to finally allow them inspect the materials. News flying around, I think either this week or late last week, had it that some of this, they are now looking at the IREV or one of the portals, and they are seeing mutilated results. They are saying that the numbers the numbers that were provided at first, and they are no longer correlating with what they are having now. So if you keep having this kind of issues over and over again, let's not forget the fact that there was even the accusation at some point that other candidates were buying voters. A particular candidate decided to buy INEC itself. So if you put all these things together, it doesn't do well enough to make an attempt to justify anything that the INEC have done, and their efforts in living up to the promises they made to Nigerians that this will be the freest and fairest election in Nigeria. But nonetheless, for me, we already have this issue before the tribunal. Yeah, we should keep our fingers crossed and see what the tribunal and see what the outcome will look like. Because if whatever the outcome will look like, there is still the Supreme Court, the highest court.
But do you agree with when people say that the judiciary is the one on trial? That people are, watching them to see if they will, restore or keep the faith in the people.
I beg to disagree that the judiciary are the ones on trial, because for me, if I don't know how to put this, but if I feel like my candidate was shortchanged during the election and I've taken the issue to court, I can't take the issue to court and just assume that whatever happens at the tribunal there, whatever happens before the judiciary that goes against what I would have wanted, makes what happened there invalid. Are you getting my point now? So I don't think it's a case of the judiciary I don't think it's a case of the judiciary under trial in any form. The judiciary at the end of the day will do their jobs. If you are able to defend your case with visible and undeniable evidences, then why not?
All right. So let's quickly move on to another issue now. Over the last 2 days or so, a lot of videos have emerged, disturbing videos from the southeast, where we are seeing members of the indigenous people of Biafra going on a rampage. Just moments ago, there's a video that we won't. It's a bit too gory to play, of them destroying food stuff. Not even humans. Now they caused the persons there to flee, and then began to destroy their food, their source of livelihood, their source of subsistence. So, what do you make of this, and how do you think this can really be handled? Because it's the shocking thing about these videos is how free they seem to be. One of the videos was so shocking that the car or the vehicle in which they arrived, the plate number was visible in the video. I mean, in any other crime, you might as well declare those people caught already, because that's such a major piece of evidence for you to expose. These videos are being made by the culprits themselves, not by bystanders, and then they release it. So what do you think can really be done to at least not make them look so, powerful?
I want to speak to the conscience of my Igbo brothers and sisters. These people perpetrating this evil, they are our brothers, they are our sisters. I want to ask each and every Southeasterner, all the people that has been, all of their so-called leaders that has been pushing for this Biafra agenda, that has been pushing for this IPOB agenda, how many of them have ever led this very fight from home? How many of them leads this fight on Nigerian soil? Look at Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. He's leading the war against Russia from his home. He didn't run to United States of America or one of the NATO countries and dishing out instructions to innocent citizens back home to be fighting. He stayed back home and he's fighting for the cause. Why I'm saying this is that the people we are seeing now, the people you saw in that footage who were causing chaos, they were once free-spirited, innocent cities members of the Southeast extractions before they started before some sort of indoctrination began to come their part, and they began to see reasons with why they should do those things, right? And if you begin to do do those things, these people, their children are not taking part in enforcing those sit-at-home rules. Now, in the midst of all this, how do you get the Southeast in general? How do you attract investment that will translate into job opportunities for these youths? You are crying out, because the agitation here is marginalization, right? Marginalization. You are not being you are not getting what you really want, and that's the reason why. You see youths from that part. They are comfortable to pack up their bags and go to Kano State and go to Maiduguri, where Boko Harams are killing, and go to any part. There's nowhere you go to in Nigeria. There's no village you go to in Nigeria that you will not find at least one Igbo man. So in all of this, how do you attract investment to the Southeast? Because for me, I will not bring my billions back home when I know that on Mondays or a particular day of the week, I won't be able to run my business. And it's not like it's not like they lack men who will be willing to bring their investments back home, especially after what we saw that happened in Lagos before the election. It's not like there are no men. It's not like the Igbos lack capable men who can. It's not who can. I know for a state like Anambra, for a state like Imo, there are a number of men who can conveniently employ 10,000 Southeasterners. But then, how many of them are willing to put that kind of investment there, when you know that some days a section of criminals can just wake up one morning and say they don't want this, and they begin to vandalize your investment? Look at a man like Dangote. The crude oil he wants to be refining, they are going to be taking it from Bayelsa, from Port Harcourt, from River State, from Delta State, and the other oil producing states. They are going to be, but he decided to take it to Lagos. Why? Because he feels his investments are safer there. So we really need to call ourselves. We really need to tell ourselves the truth.
All right, but let me continue. Let's talk about solutions. What do you make of the complaints that what is causing this is really the fear that people have of IPOB, and the fact that they don't believe that they can be protected by the very body, the very institutions that are meant to protect lives and property. Now, just a couple of days ago, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah of Anambra State, within his own constituency, if you recall, he was attacked, or his convoy was attacked, I believe last year or early this year, and he survived. So he had some sort of, will I call it an event, where he basically, what word do I use now? Employed, let's use that word, vigilantes, local vigilantes, and he pledged that Mondays will become active again, and that people should come out, and that he's giving them, this is within his own constituency, that he's giving them the assurance that he has, brought these people into his employ, and they will handle this and that. And this is, he's a senator, but he's not in the executive. What do you make of what he's doing? Do you think this is the way forward, being that he doesn't have executive powers, but he has done the most he can?
He has done the minimum.
Yes.
You know, the thing is, when a non-state actor gives an instruction in a state that has a sitting governor, and the sitting governor also gives an instruction, and the good people of the state decides to obey the instruction of the non-state actor, what does that tell you? It tells you that the words of the governor does not hold water. They have lost faith. They have lost confidence in what the government have ever said, are planning to say, or do. Because we've seen it time and time again when Governor Charles Soludo of Anambra State, when he insisted that Anambarians should come out on Monday. Nobody listened to him. Nobody listened to him, because everybody, if the Nigerian government had placed themselves in a position whereby they deal with these kind of issues head on, like they are more proactive instead of being reactive to this kind of issues. You know, the downside of being reactive to issues is that when it pops up, you don't really know how deeply rooted it is. Most times, especially in security issues, sometimes these people, they just do some things very little just to test the resilience, just to test the grit of the government of the day. And by the time they do not get the kind of reaction they expect, you see them causing more damage, more than what the government are making arrangements for. So if the government, including the federal government, if they are giving out instructions that people should come out and go about their daily activities, and non-state actors are saying you cannot come out, and the people decide to obey the non-state actors, it tells you that the government have lost their what I'm looking for the best word to put now. The government, they've lost their ability to win the confidence of the people, which is supposed to be the other way around. When a non-state actor says don't come out, and you say, and the government say come out, you are supposed to be fully confident that I will go out because I know my government will protect me. So the first thing that needs to be done right now, just like you try to say what the solution will be, I think the first thing that should be done right now is from the federal level, for all of our security architecture to be reviewed. With the state of things in Nigeria right now, Nigeria is due for a state police. Let's not lie to ourselves. Nigeria is due for a state police. And you know, from what I'm seeing from afar, I think the fear here now is that is what the state governors will do with such an organization. But then I think we have very intelligent lawmakers. We have very intelligent Nigerians that can as well put laws in place that will not make the governors be able to manipulate this security outfit to their own biddings, especially during election periods, because it's during election periods these outfits, they come in very handy. We've seen states where the governors set up state security, like internal state security services, only to end up being used as ballot box snatchers and suppressing voters during elections. So I think Nigeria is due for a state. Nigeria is due for a state police. Senator Ifeanyi Ubah alone cannot do it. Individuals cannot do it.
But do you think if some success is recorded in that constituency, there might be some encouragement for others to do some?
The thing is, if some success is recorded in that constituency, it means more nightmares for other constituencies. Because the people causing mayhem in that constituency, they will relocate to another. They will relocate to another constituency. Maybe to a constituency that was relatively peaceful, and begin to cause chaos there too. So we cannot just isolate one state. We cannot just isolate one local government and say that okay, because we have been successful here, then we now use the success in that constituency to generalize the whole situation. Just like we cannot say because there were little glitches here and there during the election to generalize the total outcome of the election.
All right. Thank you so much, Francis, for joining me and for this conversation. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's all we'll take for this segment of the program. We'll go on a break, and when we return, I'll bring you some updates, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so much. I'll be right back.